Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Camel, joined by Jade Warshaw this hour. The number to call is 888-825-5225. And if you enjoy this show, you like this show, you listen on a regular basis, I've got a quick ask of you. Would you consider subscribing and following wherever you're listening, leaving a review wherever you're listening, and sharing it with a friend? It takes you about 3 seconds, but it could change someone's life, give them the encouragement they need today. And word of mouth is how this show spreads, and we want to make that happen this year. So let's get to the phones. Jordan is kicking us off in Kansas City. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Yeah, I was wondering about my job does not provide any kind of retirement plan, and was wondering, how do I prepare for retirement in the future when I have a job that does not give me any kind of retirement package?
What kind of job is this?
I'm a full-time minister.
Oh, cool.
Does the church that you're with, they don't offer a 403B or anything like that?
They offer
Nonprofit?
Absolutely nothing, just my salary, and that's it.
Wow. So I would probably get connected with a SmartVestor Pro, because they're going to be able to really go through all the options with you. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking of you as self-employed. So my mind is immediately going to solo 401k, SEP plan, and I would look into some of those things and see what you kind of gravitate towards. But at the end of the day, I'd want to work with a professional, because they're going to understand the ins and outs of it, especially since you're working for a nonprofit. I feel like that's kind of the monkey wrench in this that makes it slightly different from any other kind of independent contractor situation.
Okay.
Are you married?
I am.
Does your spouse have a retirement plan through the employer?
She does not. She's a stay-at-home mom to our children.
Okay. So there are a few options you can do, which would be a Roth IRA, and you can also do a spousal Roth, and you can contribute, I think it's up to $6,500 in 2023 in each of those. And so that's a great way to get started on this. That's going to be outside of your employer. Anyone can open one of those. And the other thing you can look into, do you have a high deductible health plan?
It's a low deductible health plan.
Okay, so there wouldn't be an HSA component with that?
There's not on the one we're on.
Okay. And all of this may change in the future. Do you see yourself long-term, you're going to stay at this church, they're going to continue to not have any retirement options?
That's the current plan, yeah.
Okay. The other option beyond whatever, if you aren't eligible for the SEP IRA or the solo 401k, you can just invest in a brokerage account. This is outside of retirement, which means you're not going to have any tax advantages, but that money can at least grow for you. And the good news is there's no contribution limits on that.
Oh, that'd be great.
And so it's going to use after-tax dollars, and when you withdraw that money, you will be taxed on the gains. But if you hold it for over a year, it'll be long-term capital gains. And so there are options out there for you. I don't want you to not invest just because there's no retirement plan through your employer.
Exactly. But never know what the future holds, and it's always good to have something on the back burner that you can rely on in retirement. So,
absolutely.
What was the professional group that you recommend?
If you go to RamseySolutions.com and click on Ramsey Recommends, they're called SmartVestor Pros. And these are investing professionals, financial advisors all across the country that our team has vetted. They've got the heart of a teacher, and they're going to steer you in the Ramsey way. They're not going to sell you crappy products, and that will help you at least explore your options for your role.
Okay. Yeah, because there's someone I know that works in insurance, and he was trying to get me into like one of those life...
Index, universal life, whole life, permanent life.
I always remember Dave Ramsey and he was trying to chalk it up. Oh, you can have like $800,000 by the time you retire. And I'm like, no, Dave Ramsey says not.
That's right.
Is this a good friend? Do you like this person?
What was that?
Do you like this person?
They're okay.
Okay. Well, just pray for them, Alex, but also stay far away from their financial advice. Never trust an insurance salesperson for investment advice.
I know that's right.
Exactly.
They will steer you to give them commissions. It's not going to make you rich. It'll just make them rich.
Jordan has practiced the art of forgiveness for that friend.
Yes.
His pastoral duties.
Wow. Well, hey, Jordan, thanks for the call. We're wishing you the best, and thank you for your literal ministry. What an awesome field to be in. All right, let's go to Alex. Alex is in Phoenix. Alex, welcome to the show.
Yes, hi guys. How's it going?
Going good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just another day at work.
What's your question today?
Yes, I'm 34 years old. I have a 2-year-old daughter. Me and my fiance are looking to get married probably next year. It was kind of our plan, but we want to buy a house because we've been renting for 3 years now, and our rent just keeps going up every time they renew our lease. And we're running out of space, and we've both been working on all our baby steps. You know, she still has like about $2,000 worth of credit card debt, but you know, I'm trying to follow you guys' principle. I pay off all my debt. I'm debt free. We have a $10,000 emergency fund. We have about another $5-6 grand in savings. Besides that, and our lease is up in December of this year. And I've talked with Churchill Mortgage. They said to contact them after I had 2 years of tax returns, and this will be my second year of I'm an independent contractor. I own my own small tile business.
Cool.
It's just me. There's no other employees.
All right.
So my question is, am I in the right position to be looking to buy a house? Is it the right time for me? Should I wait longer? Should we save more money?
If it were
me, get married sooner?
If it were me, Alex, I would hold on, because I know that rent is getting higher and I know that's tough, but out of your own mouth, you said, I'm trying to follow the plan. I'm kind of trying to do this right. And if you want to follow the plan, we would tell you to wait until you're married to buy that house together. Then you can combine your finances. And from what it sounds like you said, your fiance, she's got $2,000 of credit cards and you have no debt. So at that point, once your money is combined, you guys could pay off her credit card debt, and you could have, it sounds like $15,000 saved, because you said you had $10,000 and then you had another $5,000. So you'd have $13,000 saved?
Roughly, possibly a little bit more, but some of it's tied in my business account. So
okay, have you done
yes.
Have you done the research around what it would take to purchase a home in your area and what that down payment needs to be?
I haven't really talked to like a loan officer or anything like that. I spoke with one person at Churchill Mortgage, and she said I wasn't ready, that I needed a couple more years of tax returns, and that was like 2 years ago.
I think I would get through this wedding, man. I'm saving up. You got a big expense coming up. Wait until you're married. Do not buy a house together before you're married. Wait to see how that all shakes down. Then once you get a pile of money, enough for a down payment, 10% minimum, then we can go ahead with the home purchase. I know you're so close. Give it another year or two. You guys will get there. You'll do it the right way. Thanks for the call. This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
I'm George Camel, joined by Jade Warshaw this hour. This is The Ramsey Show. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money at 888-825-5225. Well, Jade, I've been inundated on social media. People have been sending me this video from a large someone in the financial space who's a creator.
Yes.
And she's been posting her version of the 7 baby steps in a very passive-aggressive way by crossing out all of ours and saying what she recommends doing instead.
Yeah. You're kind.
Is that spot on? Is that a good summary?
That's spot on.
Of the video?
That's spot on, George. Yeah, I'm with you. People have been sending this to me, and I actually follow this person. So I was like, I saw it in their feed, and I was like, what is happening? But it's interesting because it's got all the 7 baby steps listed, and you guys know 7 baby steps. Let's just go over them real quick for the people who don't know.
This is the Ramsey plan in a nutshell.
This is the baby steps. Baby step 1, we're getting $1,000 saved for our starter emergency fund. Baby step 2 is we're paying off all of our debt except the mortgage using the debt snowball. Baby step 3 is we're saving 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Baby step 4 is we're putting aside 15% of our household income into retirement. Baby step 5, save for your children's college fund. Baby step 6, pay off your home early. And finally, baby step 7, build wealth and give. Now, George, it's important to note that this is a proven plan. Over decades, I'm talking, the show's been on 30 years, so there you have it. Okay.
It ain't broke.
It ain't broke. Don't fix it. So my girl here, she got beside herself. She got different. She started crossing out each one and saying, no, you don't have to save $1,000. Just start saving. Just save any amount.
Perfect. Love it.
You know what? That's a smart goal right there. Not. A smart goal is about giving yourself very clear parameters. Being specific. Just save any amount. What is that, $1? Will a dollar do it? I don't think it will.
10,000? Is that too much?
10,000?
Just start saving to your heart's delight.
And you want to know what I love about our plan? Is it is for everybody. It works for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your income. What your situation is. The plan works for you. Okay, let's look at the second one. We say that step 2 is to pay off all debt except the debt snowball. She says, no. Pay off only the high interest debt, and you can do whatever method works for you, George.
Wow.
Whatever. This is wacky wavy. I'm like one of those things outside that just blows in the wind.
Like, hey, just live your truth,
Oh, yeah. Just live your truth.
Don't put yourself in a box. You just start paying off the debt willing. Listen, whatever method works for you, the reason I need a plan is because my method ain't working.
Right.
So I need someone to tell me what plan, what method actually works.
There's a reason that there's experts out here because you didn't know, and that is okay. It's okay for you not to know. We're here to give you a specific plan. All right, number 3, George.
Oh, this is a gear grinder,
This
Jade.
is hurting me. She says, you don't need 3 to 6 months. You can do the 3 to 6 months of expenses. You can do this while you're completing the other steps. So basically, she's taking a play at the fact that we say you need to work the baby steps in order.
Do not invest until you have a fully funded emergency fund.
Yeah.
And she's saying, hey, just start saving. Try to get that fully funded emergency. Just go ahead and invest. Save for the kids' college. Throw a little bit at them. Yeah. Do whatever you want.
And you don't need to have 3 to 6 months before you invest. You can just...
Perfect.
Invest now. That way, George, that way, if you have an emergency, you just pull from your 401k.
That's right.
Horrible ideas.
HVAC goes out. I wasn't quite there because I was investing. Well, now I got to rob my 401k or take out a HELOC, which is, by the way, what most Americans are doing. If you listen to the show, they back themselves into a corner because they don't have the fully funded emergency fund.
That's right.
And they start doing stupid with steroids.
That's right. A good teacher teaches to the class. They don't just teach to this one little segment of people. You got to teach to the class. All right, here's the next one. Number 5, save for your children's college fund. She just crossed it out and wrote, eliminate debt. What the heck does that even mean?
Okay.
What does that mean? Just
what kind of
eliminate
debt? We don't know.
Just go to school, do it cash for, do it in cash. I don't care how you get there.
Squishy real quick.
It doesn't even make sense. Here's my thing on this. Okay, and then here's the kicker. Number 6, we say pay off your home early because we want you to build wealth. We want you to enjoy the freedom that you've worked for. Then we say baby step 7, build wealth and give. She crossed them all out, big red X through the center, and wrote, just save and invest for the long term for goals that matter to you.
Okay.
Pick anything out of the clouds.
This feels like you've been playing Monopoly for too long and you just flip the board because you give up.
Oh, I flipped the board. I was like Jesus when he walked in the tabernacle, just flip those tables over.
Woo.
I'm mad, George, because this is the thing. You need a plan and you need to submit to a plan. I don't care what plan. I hope you follow the Ramsey plan. But the key is you got to submit to the process. Say, I picked this plan. I picked it for a reason. My way wasn't working. Your way has not been working. That's why you're still broke. That's why you're listening to the Ramsey Show. That's why you're following this girl online. Your plan did not work. So submit to a process and follow it. And I hear Dave say it all the time. If you do it ish,
it's a wish.
It's a wish.
That was the best alley-oop of all time.
It was.
Right,
I just tossed it right over to George.
I got real nervous. I was like, if I get this wrong, Jade's never going to forgive me.
I forgive you, George.
But it's so
you
true.
Nailed it.
I was there too. I mean, 10 years ago when I started this Ramsey plan, I started it because my plan wasn't working. This plan of, well, I'll just take out the student loans and I'll get this amazing job at the end. And I'll open the credit card and I'll always pay it off until I can't because I don't have money for emergencies and I had to turn to it as a crutch. And I did it for the cash back and the rewards and the airline miles, but here I am paying 22% interest on $4,000, and I don't feel like it was worth the reward of the 2%.
Is.
And so there's a reason this plan works. It's simple. It's straightforward. It's not a choose your own adventure.
Nope.
It's not a Chinese buffet. Just do the plan and it works.
Everyone thinks they're the exception, George. Everyone goes, yeah, but in my situation, yeah, but because of my job, yeah, but I only make, yeah, but the way I grew up, yeah, but the way
my favorite is, well, Dave's plan is only for broke people.
Well,
okay, that's very confusing because I keep meeting people who say, I'm a baby steps millionaire. I followed the steps and all of a sudden I'm a net worth millionaire.
Yes.
So that doesn't sound broke to me.
Bro, the facts don't lie. The facts don't lie. Yeah, if you see this, guys, at the end of the day, what we're trying to say here is submit to a plan. And if I could just add one other thing in here, George, this is kind of beside this, but can I just say, if you're out there, if you're trying to making your way downtown, walking fast. Faces past. Okay, we got that. If you're making your way out here, if you are an entrepreneur, you're an influencer, you do not have to pull anybody else down to shine. All right? You don't have to put that saltiness out there. You don't have to tear anybody else's thing down. Just do your thing and you will shine. You've got something for the marketplace. There's plenty of shares for everybody. You do not have to be out here and you don't have to be ugly.
Jay, the truth is people come at us for clicks. Because when you put Dave's name on it, all of a sudden you get 10x the views and 10x the clicks. And so it's kind of a cheap trick.
It's a cheap trick, but people think they're making themselves look shiny. But I'm like, it's really just dulling your shine because it's making you look a little, salty is all I'm saying. You're looking salty. You're looking crispy.
As I like to say. Wow. Well, Jade, you're doing something really cool. You want to walk people through these steps week by week by leading your own virtual Financial Peace University class.
Yes, George.
You put your money where your mouth is.
This
is happening.
Money. Yes, this is happening. Thank you, George, because I almost forgot about the main thing.
You got too riled up.
I got riled up.
When is it happening? Give them the details.
Financial Peace University, guys. It is going to be coordinated by me. It's going to be the class that you've probably all heard of with George in the class and John Deloney in the class and Rachel teaching and Dave teaching. And I am actually hosting that class. I'm coordinating that class. So that means I'm going to be in there in the virtual room with you, taking your questions, helping you through it. This is starting March 1st. Click that QR code. It's right there on the screen. You can sign up today, guys. And we're going at mega speed. We're doing 2 a week. Give me 2 hours a week of your time. We are going to change your life. I promise you that. We are going to change.
9 weeks straight.
Woo!
And if you're listening,
no, not 9 weeks, George. 5.
Oh, this is the accelerated edition.
This is accelerated.
She ain't fooling around.
We're doing it in 5.
If you're listening, the link fpu.com/ get this number 115-9611. We'll also put that in the show notes. If you're watching, you can scan the QR code. Join this class. It might be the most epic, record-breaking class, most debt paid off, most dollars saved. And with Jade hosting, I'm going to join just to see what happens in there.
Let's go. And I'll be on my social too. I'll be on my social. We'll be answering questions. Let's do it.
I'm so pumped for this. All right, go sign up. FPU, this is your year, folks. This is The Ramsey Show.
We've been doing business at Ramsey for more than 30 years. By now, we're a well-oiled machine, but it wasn't always that way. Yes, we've always had a vision, always had determination, and a drive to help people. But what we didn't have was one central place to access all our numbers so that we could get further ahead or quickly see when we needed to pivot. We were always jumping back and forth between different systems and spreadsheets. So when NetSuite by Oracle helped us wrangle our revenue, inventory, expenses, and more into one place, it was a game changer. And NetSuite's #1 cloud financial system can help your business gain the same visibility, because businesses thrive on timely data. And NetSuite's real-time analytics can help your business have immediate access to your numbers daily, so you always know where you stand and you can move quickly. So go to netsuite.com/Ramsey today and set up a free product tour. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
I'm George Camel. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm joined this hour by Jade Warshaw. We're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Jason is up next in Oklahoma City. Jason, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you all?
We're doing great, my friend. How can we help?
All right. Well, my wife just left a job, and she's looking to roll over her 401k, and was given what I feel some very bad advice about rolling it into a 401k Roth or an IRA Roth. And that's my question is, which step would be the best one to take?
Who gave her the advice?
A financial advisor from her new job.
How much was in the 401k?
About $200,000.
And where are you guys at in the baby steps? So do you have any consumer debt? Do you have a fully funded emergency fund?
We do have a fully funded emergency fund. At her choice, I thought I wanted to throw it at the debt. We have $19,300 left to pay off on student loans. We were at $72,000 when we got married in October.
Cool. So there is a time and place for doing that conversion, because you're saying she has a traditional 401k. She wants to roll it into a Roth IRA, which means she's going to pay taxes on that money to convert it.
Correct.
And you're saying this is a bad idea. And I would agree with you until you're at baby step 7 with a paid-for house. Now we have the margin to do that, to convert it. So you can do it later. So I'll just push this conversion off until you guys have a paid-for home.
Okay.
And also, I wouldn't be doing any investing until those student loans are paid off. Are you guys currently contributing?
I am not. I believe she is, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay. Well, you can do your plan and you can still become debt-free. We're happy for you, but the baby steps would tell you that we're pausing all investing until we've got this consumer debt paid off, because it's going to speed up the process. The goal is to make this short-term sacrifice as short as possible so that we can live like no one else later.
Yes.
And you guys are on the way to do that. You think you'll pay it off this year?
Yes.
How much money do you guys have in the bank?
She has $18,000 in an emergency fund. That was the only way I could convince her to go after this like this, so that was a compromise that I made.
What do you mean she? I'm confused. Do you guys not have? Do you have separate bank accounts?
No. We have a joint bank account. However, I don't feel good about pulling $18,000 out without permission, and vice versa. Does that make sense?
So it's you all savings account.
Yeah.
But she's not on board with using the money to pay off the debt.
I see.
Right. She wants to keep the emergency fund in place.
I see. So she's not willing to go back to baby step 2 to pay off this debt. She doesn't want to sacrifice the $18K that's your baby step 3 in order to go backwards and do this thing in order.
Correct.
So she's not on board with this Ramsey stuff at all.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. That would be the first step, because right now you guys are running on 2 separate tracks, and it could be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, what's your plan long term for that? Because if you guys don't get on the same track, you can't sustain that, you know? If I'm you and you've had this conversation many times and it's just not going anywhere, you might want to consider, talking to a professional, maybe getting involved, talking to a pastor at your local church, maybe picking up a couple counseling sessions to get you guys on the same page, because you can't go far like that.
Correct.
Have you guys been through Financial Peace University together?
We have not. We're actually starting it here in our local town in February.
Oh, awesome. Did you already buy it?
I have not. They're doing one at our church, I believe.
Great.
And I signed up for it, and we're supposed to go through it then.
That's great. So your wife is on board with that part?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, good. That's great. That's
Well,
great.
I'll do you one better. I'll gift it to you, and you can still sign up for that class, but you won't have to pay for it.
Okay.
Because I'm that invested in this relationship and wanting you guys to get on the same page.
Awesome.
So hang on the line. Austin will pick up, and we will get you Financial Peace University for 1 year. You can join your local class, and you can join Jade's virtual class coming up in March.
You sure could. George, you're so generous.
I can't, when it's Dave's stuff, I don't mind.
You're like it.
Doesn't cost me anything,
I love
but it does feel good to be generous and help someone along their financial journey.
Yeah, that's just what they needed too.
So thank you for the call, Jason. Appreciate it. All right, let's go to Orlando, Florida. Elizabeth joins us there. Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Hi, can you all hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Great, thank you. My question is about whether or not I should move out. I am currently living in Orlando, Florida, of course. The housing market is kind of crazy, and I'm not sure whether or not now would be a good time to move out. I'm currently living with my parents, single mom of 3 after a divorce. And that's why I'm living with my parents currently, but I'm ready to regain that independence. Mm-hmm. Currently on baby step number 2, the debt snowball, and I've paid off about $40,000 in the last 2 years.
Awesome.
And have, just student loans left. Of course, it's going to be a big cost having to pay for rent now, but I'm ready to regain that independence, like I said. Mm-hmm. I'm just not sure it makes financial sense.
What's your income?
My income is $57,000.
Okay. How much do you have left in student loans?
About $56,000.
Okay.
I like the idea of you getting your own footing and getting out on your own. I want to make sure that you're in a good place to be able to do that. And you have got a little bit of money, able to do that. Have you priced it out to see like what rent is going to cost, what this is going to look like, how it's going to affect your debt snowball, that sort of thing?
I have, and I do have that emergency savings, and I'm also saving up for the first, last, and security. So I at least have that ready to go before I move out. I'm also planning to move out with a relative, with my older sister.
Oh, so you'll have a roommate.
So that would be a split cost, exactly.
So how much did you say you saved for this move?
I would say about, not completely yet. I'm getting it one more month, and I should have about $4,500.
$4,500
specifically. Mm-hmm.
And how much is it going to cost you per month?
No more than $1,500 is what we decided for my portion of the rent.
That feels like a lot comparatively to your take-home pay. Because are you bringing home $3,500 a month?
It's about $4,200 a month.
Yeah, $1,500 is a huge chunk of that. Is there anywhere that's more affordable? Because you're talking about this rent is $3,000. Are you guys splitting it evenly, or is there rooms for the kids?
We're not. It's 60-40 because I have my kids.
Okay. Man, that's just a lot. Even splitting it just hurts my brain to think of you trying to cover all the bills, all 3 kids. What are you doing for childcare?
Well, I work remotely, fortunately, so I'm able to keep one of my children home. He's young enough to be able to stay at home with me. The other 2 are in elementary school.
Okay. Do you have any opportunity to increase your income?
I'm constantly searching for it. And would like to have some kind of side something going on. I haven't really found anything just yet, but that is definitely on my radar.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous about this. It's a big percentage of your take-home pay.
I want to see you pay off this debt, and it's going to slow you down in a big way. So I'm wondering, what's the off-ramp look like for you to move out? Is it a month from now, or could you push it to 6 months from now and you save up aggressively and try to knock some more of this debt out?
I mean, I'm fine with that, and I was hesitant because we were thinking maybe marriage would be a good time. My sister's kind of ready to go, to make her move back out there as well. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to hold her back. But at the same time, she also says, don't do anything you're not comfortable with. And I really am starting to feel kind of uncomfortable.
Were there any,
financially?
If you can keep researching, are there other places that are a little bit,
Because you're remote. Can you live a little further out?
Yeah. A couple of $100 here is going to make a big difference for you.
Yes. I mean, I actually said, let's try looking for maybe nothing more than 2,300 even.
We want to try to get it down to where it's no more than 25% of your income so that you're not strapped and so that you can work this debt snowball.
Yeah, this is a tight situation. I would walk cautiously. I would also create a fake budget and see, can I actually live off of this before we make this move? Thank you for the call, Elizabeth. We're pulling for you. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. If you're a new listener, you just caught us on the radio, someone told you to check out this podcast, you're maybe stumbled upon it thanks to the YouTube algorithm gods, and you're going, what the heck is this stuff they're talking about with these baby steps? Well, we want to help you dive deeper. And so our team created a really easy to use tool at RamseySolutions.com. Just click on the Get Started button, answer a few quick questions, and then we will help you figure out the next best step for your financial journey based on where you are at today. We're going to give you the right tools and resources to help you do that. RamseySolutions.com/get started. All right, let's go to the phones. Jason joins us up next, and he is in Columbia, South Carolina. Jason, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. What's going on?
My question is, I was trying to put my baby steps in order, and I was listing all my debt. And so I was putting my wife and mine together in there. And my question was, when I got to the interest rates, you guys say interest rate doesn't matter, but it seemed like because I have balances that are similar, like a $4,000 one and a $6,000 credit card. Mm-hmm. And so based off of your methods, I would take off the $4,000 one first, but it has like 13% interest on it. And the $6,000 one has like 24% interest on it. So it seems like if I was to ignore the $6,000 and pay the $4,000 one, I'd be getting a lot of interest racked up on the $6,000. So I'm just kind of curious as to why interest rate doesn't matter.
Well, the reason that we teach that is because a lot of times when you're getting out of debt, it's not just about the math part of it. It's the behavioral part that's also a huge part of the equation that many times gets left out, right? So we have found over the years that the debt snowball method is actually the most proven way to pay off debt, which is listing them from smallest to largest. Harvard even did a study about it that showed that when you get those small wins, because if you really think about it, a lot of times the debt that has the lowest interest usually is some of the biggest debt that we have, right? So anyway, it's great to list them from lowest to smallest by balance, and then you're getting those small wins quickly. And the more that you get wins, the more that you actually believe that you can do it, and you stay motivated. And through the long haul, we actually see more people paying off debt through completion. So that's the way that that's the reason that we opt for the debt snowball over another method, which what you're saying would be the debt avalanche method. Does that kind of make sense?
And we found, Jason, that all this personal finance stuff, it's really behavior. It's 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. And when you knock out that smallest debt, it actually gives you this little thing called hope that motivates you to get the next debt. And by the way, it freed up a payment for you to apply to that next debt on top of all the margin. And all of a sudden, you see some light at the end of the tunnel. And so that is the purpose of the debt snowball. It's to create momentum. And so you're right. On paper, if you can do the avalanche method and do it perfectly, then go for it. But the truth is, if you had that kind of discipline, then we wouldn't have been in debt in the first place.
Right. I understand. Yeah. And I have never had this discipline. I've been
Me either,
basically
brother.
just been lazy.
That's why I just submitted to this other guy's plan because I was like, well, he's got money and I don't. So let's see if his plan works.
I know, that's
And
right.
I did the same thing, man. I had $4,000 in credit card debt. I had $36,000 in student loans, and they were all split up into a bunch of loans. And instead of doing debt consolidation and trying to be fancy and move the debt around and pay off the highest interest first, I just went, I'm just going to start attacking these from smallest to largest, regardless of the interest rate.
Yep.
And man, in 18 to 24 months, that's the average time it takes for people to get completely debt free. How much debt do you have?
Total, including vehicles, about 50,000.
And what's your household income?
About 100,000.
Okay, cool. That's about normal for people to have half of their income tied up in debt. And that means you can pay this thing off. If you're making $100K, how quickly do you think you'll pay off this 50 doing the baby steps with gazelle intensity?
Right.
I mean, 2 years from now, your life is going to look totally different.
Yeah, we're talking 18 months, right?
Right.
So we can do this thing, but it starts with going, all right, I'm just going to go all in on this instead of argue with myself of why I'm going to do it a different way or tweak it. I'm telling you, go all in just try it for 6 months and see the progress you're making. And it gets addictive.
Understood. All right. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for the call. It's a good conversation, and you're not the first to ask that question. And truthfully, for a lot of people, there's not a great answer because it's hard to argue with math. Right?
It is.
But it's also hard to argue with hundreds of thousands, millions of people who have done this stuff. And you're like, oh, but they're debt-free and I'm not. So proof's in the pudding.
There it is. And my thing is, like, when I think about high interest debt versus low interest debt, I mean, usually the stuff with the smallest interest is your biggest debt. You know, if you're thinking about student loans, that's like the single percentage stuff, usually your car, a mortgage. If you list that stuff first by interest rate, it's gonna take you forever. You're gonna lose motivation. If I listed my first debt by interest rate, I would have had to pay off $90,000 in one shot. Instead of a $200 little store card that I had. It doesn't, you got to go by motivation. Motivation is what keeps you going.
And I like, when you see that interest rack up, it makes you angry. And so I'm okay with that because anger is the fuel you need to get to debt freedom. It always starts with anger. If you're not angry and you're comfortable with your situation and you're happy sitting in your pile of debt, then you're not going to change. But when you start looking at how much you're giving to lenders every month through your payments and through interest instead of building wealth for your family, now you want to punch through a wall. You want to run through the wall like the Kool-Aid man once you see those numbers. And so I want you to be angry because that tells me you're ready to actually change once and for all and change your family tree and change your legacy.
I love
that is another reason, on top of freeing up payments faster and feeling the progress, I want you to have a little bit of pain.
Yeah.
Because we have gotten way too comfortable as a society. Americans have been sitting in their debt in comfort in la-la land, wondering why they can't build wealth, blaming the economy and the White House and inflation, and it's the egg prices now.
Oh, gosh.
And
are we going to talk about that?
At the end of the day, your payments are the reason you're broke. It's not the egg prices. So stop complaining about the egg prices and start looking in the mirror and saying, that's the real problem. Not eggs being $3 more than they were 6 months ago.
I know, that's right.
So, anywho, you got me all riled up.
George,
Jay.
I'm not adding anything to that. I'm just going to sit here and imagine you running through a wall.
Well, speaking of building wealth, anytime the price of eggs is making the headlines, you're dealing with a wacky economy. It's strange times out there.
Man.
But even news about layoffs and on again, off again recession and the crazy high interest rates are no reason to give up on your money goals. And we are here to give you a plan for your money. And so I want all of you to join us for our Building Wealth live tour as we show you how to build wealth and actually keep it. So we're going to be in Indianapolis on February 16th. It'll be Dave, myself, Rachel, and Jade. Then in Austin, Texas, you can go hang out with Dave, Ken Coleman, Dr. John Deloney, and Jade. And if you are near or can get to Salt Lake City, I'll be there with Rachel Cruz, Dave Ramsey, and Christina Ellis on April the 24th. And we'll round it out in May, on May 2nd in Anaheim, California with Dave, Ken, Dr. John, and Christina. So we're switching it up. It's a mixed bag, and all of those events are going to be so fun. And tickets start at just $49, or you can get a 4-pack of tickets starting at $175. And all of our Fall Building Wealth events, they sold out. And so do not wait to get your tickets. You got to get them now before they sell out. RamseySolutions.com/events. That's the place to go to reserve your seats for Building Wealth Live. RamseySolutions.com/events. And this is your first time on the Building Wealth Tour, right, Jade?
It is. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm finally going to get to meet you guys and like we're going to chop it up and it's going to be a great time. I'm so excited.
Yes. The personalities, we all hang out after the event and take photos for fun. And, they'll sign your books. I don't have any books to sign, so I sign all kinds of random stuff.
Ooh.
I've signed T-shirts. I've signed, hats.
Okay.
Whatever you want. It's just fun. It's fun to meet people and hear their story in little snippets. Obviously, we don't have 28 minutes with each person.
True.
But even just that quick, like, hey, we're on baby step 7. We paid off hey, we're baby steps millionaires.
Yes.
Hey, we just paid off another debt. We love celebrating those wins with you all, and the crowds have been absolutely electric.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Just being able to celebrate where people are on their journey. I think that's everything, right?
Well, and like live events, like we're back, we're doing them now, and a lot of people, y'all haven't been doing anything fun for a while, and so there's something magical about just going somewhere with a fun crowd of people who are on the same journey as you, and you go, oh, we're not crazy. There's thousands of other people who want to be weird too.
That's right.
And that is so encouraging. It's one of the reasons Financial Peace University is so powerful, because you're around real people who are on that same journey. So looking forward to that. RamseySolutions.com/events. Can't wait to see you all on the road this spring. All right, that puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to Jade Warshaw, my co-host, all the guys in the booth. We've got Austin, Ben, James, Zach, and Andrew, and you, America. Thanks for tuning in today. We're going to be back real soon right here on The Ramsey Show. Hey, George Camel here. If you love the show and you want a deeper dive on your money journey, we've got a weekly newsletter that gives you helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for the newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Camel, hosting this hour with my friend Jade Warshaw, and we're taking your calls, America, at 888-825-5225. Jim kicks us off in Austin, Texas. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help today?
Well, I'm looking for some advice on how to invest $120,000 in cash.
Whoa.
I retired in 2010 from my first job. Been working a second job full-time now. And over the years, I've saved a lot of money. And I've got about 3 different bank accounts with money in, so I'm financially good there. But I have $120,000 in tin cans buried in the backyard that ain't making me no money.
Wow.
So I thought I would try to find out what I can do.
We finally found the guy with the tin cans of money in the backyard.
Wow.
Let's start with your address. Where exactly can we find... Let's go on a treasure hunt. He's like, my name's not Jim and I don't live in Austin. Fooled you.
Well, if I told you, I'd have to shoot you.
Oh, man.
I believe you, Jim. I'm not going near Jim's property. So you've done a great job saving. Do you have any debt?
I have no debt whatsoever. In 2010, I paid everything off, and I work some for the municipality that I work for now, and I do a lot of security jobs on the side, and I have been able to really, really save a lot of money. The wife is retired, and I should be retired. I'm at 67 years old. But,
do you just like working?
I do like working. I don't like sitting at home. When I retired in 2010, I stayed retired 6 months. Didn't like it, so I got a job.
Good for you. That's awesome.
So
okay. How much money do you have? Do you have anything invested, or is this all just sitting in checking accounts and savings accounts?
Well, I have 2 bank accounts, 2 different banks, and then I have a credit union with some money in it too. So those 3 accounts is only making whatever the interest rate is for the banks.
Oh, that stinks.
So it's not.
What's the total of all that money that's in the banks?
About $125,000.
Okay, so you got 125 in banks and then 120,000 in cash, and you're wanting to invest this.
and I wanted to invest at least the $120,000 in cash because I know it's not making me any money.
Well, even the money that's sitting in those banks, you could do way better in a high yield savings account. You could be making 3 or 4% on that instead of 0 to 0.5%.
Okay, well, that's what the advice I need and how to do that and what to do to get to that point. Now, I would tell you, I have a CD for the wife in one of the accounts for $6,000, so there's another $6,000 there. And then I do invest in the 457 program. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, how that works through the county.
Is that like a deferred compensation?
Exactly.
Okay.
And I have about $15,000 in that. So,
do you have any retirement options through your current employer?
Yes.
What are those options?
Well, I'm drawing an annuity from my first job, a considerable amount of money. I'm drawing Social Security because I'm at 66 in 2 months. I'm drawing full Social Security there.
How much? Do you have a 401k or anything through work?
No.
Okay.
It's the 2-to-1 match through the county. I was a TMRS before when I retired from the other one. Now it's a Texas Municipal County retirement.
Okay.
Both of them are good retirements.
So do you need the income created from these investments, or are you living off of the annuity and Social Security plus your current income?
That's what I'm living off of. I don't really use this other money for anything other than just sitting there.
Okay.
Even in the bank accounts, just let it sit there.
So I would leave enough to have a fully funded emergency fund in that high yield savings account, and it sounds like you'd be more comfortable having more money in there. Are you going to plan on making any big purchases in the next few years?
No.
Okay, you got a paid for house?
Yes, sir.
Great. So the first focus you want to look into is tax advantaged accounts, meaning things that have some kind of tax implication that can help you avoid paying Uncle Sam his due. Right. And so that would be things like a 401k or anything Roth. So a Roth IRA. What's your household income?
It's just me right now. So it's, let's see, 30, 60, probably around 90 to 100,000 a year.
Okay. Yeah, you've got options to make this work a whole lot more for you than these bank accounts. And so
tomorrow the wife starts on her Social Security, so we'll have her income coming.
Woo! Payday.
Yes.
Well, you guys have done really well. I mean, I know it hurts to look back and go, man, over the 12 years this money's been sitting here, it could have grown at 8 to 10 to 12%, and instead it just couldn't beat inflation.
But I could kick myself for letting it sit there, but
let's look to the future.
If I'm ever going to retire and be comfortable, I need some advice and some help to get some kind of investments in it.
Yeah. Well, I would for sure, you need to connect with an investing professional who can walk you through all of your options and dig into all the details. And we've got some that we vet all over the country. We have some in the Austin, Texas area that can help you. If you just jump on to RamseySolutions.com and click on Ramsey Recommends, you can connect with a SmartVestor Pro. And they'll walk you through, hey, Jim, here's all of your options that we could do with this money. They're not going to force you to do anything. You still call the shots. They're just going to educate you on what you could do and where to invest that money to help it grow. They're probably going to recommend things like mutual funds. These are groups of hundreds and thousands of stocks that can help your money grow with way less risk than just a single stock in one company.
Okay.
That's an example. There's index funds that you could also invest in, which are just tracking, like the S&P 500, tracking the top 500 publicly traded companies and their growth. We're kind of all banking. That's what the economy is really based on when we look at the stock market, is that S&P 500. So there's a lot of options, and you still got time. How old are you?
I'm 67.
So, I mean, Jim, we still got, 30 years ahead of us here to invest this money and let it grow.
Hope so, yes, sir.
You got kids?
That's what I'm looking for. Yes, but they're all married and grown, and I've got 3 grandkids and 1 on the way.
I love that. Well, I'm a Bible believer man, and it says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And so that's a great goal for you to have.
Well, I do have for the 3 that I already have, I do have bank accounts for them set up at the credit union.
Love it. Man, well, you're off to a great start. You've got some homework to do, Jim, which is let's research a good high-yield savings account. There's a ton out there. You can look into Marcus by Goldman Sachs or Ally. We don't have any affiliation with them. You just want to make sure they're FDIC insured, which means your money's covered just like it would be with that credit union, and those for sure are. And then connect with that SmartVestor Pro and get investing. Don't just leave this sitting in a checking account. Breaks my heart to hear you got six figures that have been sitting out there for over a decade, man, but you've done really well, and being debt-free really helps the situation, Jade. We love to hear that. So thanks for the call, Jim. More of your calls coming up on The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to save up to 45% off everything site-wide. Go to Blinds.com now to learn more.
I'm George Campbell, joined by Jade Warshaw this hour. This is The Ramsey Show. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Joel joins us up next in Greenville, South Carolina. Joel, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. I don't really have a question. I really just wanted to share kind of what I've been able to accomplish and what I've learned about my finances in the last year or so. I've never really struggled with credit cards, but my problem's been subscriptions. The $5, $10 monthly or bill you once a year type subscriptions. I figured up that I was paying sometimes $200-$300 a month in those things, because here's what happens: they say $10 a month or $8 a month if you pay for a whole year, and then you forget about it. A year later, in February, suddenly you get a bill for $100, and like, where'd this come from? I wasn't planning for that.
Absolutely. That's a tough one. So what was your solution?
I've been on a year-long war against subscriptions and canceling any of them that I can. And here's what happens. So you have Netflix and you start thinking you own those movies. You don't. You stop paying, they go away, right? So it's like you kind of feel like you're going to lose something. But I realized if you want to sign up, they'll let you sign up the next week or so. So I've been canceling them as much as possible. I especially hate the ones that lock you in because you feel like you're dependent on them. Like I'm sick of Gmail and getting all spam, so I'm going to pay for
the storage. Dude, I just did that, Joel.
Or the storage.
I gave Google my $2 so they'd stop threatening me that I'm not going to get email anymore.
No joke. I had 3 cloud backup services, 3 or 4 photo backup services, 2 music subscriptions, 5 streaming services. It was just
wow.
Nuts.
And a partridge in a pear tree. How old are you, Joel? I'm curious.
I'm in my mid-40s.
Okay.
And it's like some of them I had for years, like and also like your Amazon Prime. Studies show that people with Prime subscriptions pay more on Amazon. The longer you have them, the more you pay on Amazon. And so it was like I'd had that for like
it makes
ever
sense.
since they started.
Well, then it's like ingrained in your life. It's like you're passing this down to your kids, your Amazon account.
You're dependent on their photo backup. You're dependent on their music service, and they etch their way into every part of your life.
Digging their claws into you.
I'm sick of it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you fought back against it, Joel. And there's, for the listeners out there, there's a lot of ways they can rally against this. Number one is just paying attention to their money. When you sign up for something, go ahead and add it as a line item in your budget. And then inside of every dollar, our budgeting tool, you can actually add a due date. And so you'll know exactly when that's going to come due. You know exactly when it's going to happen, and you'll know to cancel too. I set calendar reminders all the time when I sign up for stuff. I'll set multiple calendar reminders for me to cancel it before, the time comes due to pay.
I'm a little bit more extreme than that. So what I've started is, okay, let's say there's a new season of a show like Stranger Things that I want to watch, and I'll sign up for Netflix. I'll cancel it immediately, and it will last for that month.
It'll still give you the rest of your 29-day trial.
Yeah, and that way, again, I'm living intentionally. I'm not letting it just become a habit, and I find that I'm not using it. Because there's so many companies out there that are banking on people paying for their service but forgetting about using it.
That's so good. So, Joel, how much were you actually spending per month? Like when you, at your height, at the height of this addiction, how much were you spending on subscriptions?
If you count everything, including the Amazon Prime and all that, it probably got up to 150, 200, sometimes a little bit more than that.
Wow.
And again, it's the death of 1,000 paper cuts, right? Because you have $10 here, Audible $15 a month, all this stuff that, again, those are great services if you use them. Mm-hmm. But again, I just found it just became so much, and especially with the annual ones, even as setting reminders, it never came at a convenient time where, I have $60 more just sitting around that I want to spend on that, or it would be like any of these like videos or blogs about 10 websites that'll change your life that you didn't know existed. Those are all like influencers paid marketing commissions get you to sign up for those. And I'm in the tech industry. I work for a Microsoft partner. I always, love technology. So it's like I'm a sucker for that, tool that's going to make me more productive, make me a better note taker, make me organized. It never does. You don't use the tools you have now. Why is some awesome new AI-powered thing going to make you better at that thing if you don't use what you have now?
Well, there's slick marketing that always makes us think I'll be more productive, and I got to get the premium version now because it has this feature. And so that's a tough thing, Joel, that I think a lot of, especially with the newer generations, Gen Z, millennials, even Gen Xers are struggling with, is this just digital clutter in our life that's keeping us broke.
I know for Sam and I, one of the things we did is, because some of them are slick, like Apple is slick. You just see the payment come out. It'll be like $8.99, but it doesn't say what it was.
Oh,
and so
exactly. Never says what it's for.
And the same thing with Amazon. The charge comes and it's just, $27.99. You don't know what it was for. So we really started getting intentional about labeling. As they came into our every dollar budget, we would label it and really track it towards where it was going. And then you really see, man, like Amazon, it's not just subscriptions. Like, are you paying, is it for groceries? Is it household goods? Is it just crap? You know what I mean? And I think that when you label it out and then you go through the Apple ones and you label them out, you're like, okay, this one was Spotify and this one was, the workout app. You can really start to see where you're spending and where you're starting to overlap. And better than that, just setting a budget on, I am only going to spend no matter what. I only have $75 to spend on subscriptions. And then, like you said, it's like, hey, I might have to cancel Paramount Plus this month. And
that's right. How are you going to see the new iCarly reboot, Jade?
I'm watching Yellowstone, George. I don't know what you're watching. I'm trying to watch 1883 out here.
Shots fired to the iCarly fans out there. Well, Joel, I'm glad you fought back against the system and saved yourself, $150 a month. Way to go.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just, for one thing, it makes your finances and your budget so much simpler because you don't have a million things that say Apple, or Google. It's kind of like, you set up the power off to your house, you try to get the little meter to stop spinning, it never does. Same thing. It's like, just can't get those to stop. And, that's why, again, it's taken me a full year because I've still been getting, and even like Saturday, I saw an ad for some new streaming service, and I almost hit the button to subscribe to it, thinking, I want to watch those shows. They're like, I don't have time for that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you have 4 subscriptions, there's just too much content out there already. And so I feel good. I get no greater joy than canceling a subscription that I was not using.
I know that's right. And can we just say, if you're in baby step 2, you don't have time for these subscriptions because you're out here working.
That's right.
You don't have time to watch Netflix and Hulu and Paramount Plus and YouTube TV. If you have that much time, you are not working enough.
And then still complaining that you can't get rid of the debt fast enough.
Yes. No.
So.
Yeah,
well, here's
he makes a good point.
A fun little exercise for you. If you're an iPhone user, just go to your settings, click on your name at the top, and then click on your subscriptions, and it will show you a whole list of all your subscriptions, and you can just tap on it and cancel it.
I love that feature.
So there we go. I just figured I subscribed to the Stormwatch app that I'm going to cancel right now in front of America for 99 cents a month I was paying. Because I got freaked out by a storm coming through. And so Nashville Severe Weather, who I love on Twitter, was like, hey, you might want to get your own local app for this to really track it. It'll, alarm if a tornado is coming through by your house.
It. You just saved yourself $12 a year, George.
And here's a life hack James will appreciate, our producer. There's a site called privacy.com. I have no affiliation with them, but you can create basically one-time use debit cards with limits and time limits and transaction limits that are connected to your debit card, but it won't keep charging your bank account. And so if you just want to pay for something once or sign up for a free trial, this is a great way to never actually get dinged and fall for the stupid tax. So check it out, privacy.com. I've been using it myself, enjoying it, and it's fun time. So that's a fun call to remind us of the sneaky ways we are becoming broke as a nation. And it's from subscriptions, and they add up. And if you start to cancel those, you're going to give yourself a raise in your budget by $100, $150. And then you realize, I can live without this.
And you sure can.
My life is better because I have margin in my budget. Love it. Thanks for the call, Joel. This is The Ramsey Show.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Jay Warshaw this hour. Our question of the day comes from Brent in Virginia. Here's what Brent is asking. What are your thoughts on high-yield savings accounts? Are they regular bank savings accounts? If so, which ones do you recommend, and do you have to file income tax on interest gained from them? These are great questions, Brent.
They really are. I feel like that's a hot topic lately.
I know you wouldn't believe how many messages I get weirdly, like per week, of just people going, hey, what's a good high yield savings account?
HYSA.
And the reason is interest rates on those accounts have gone way up.
Yes.
I mean, it was at, back in 2019, I think you could get 2% on these accounts. Mm-hmm. And then it all went downhill to where you were getting 0.5%. And then all of a sudden in the last year, it shot up. And so now you can easily get 3% or more on a high yield savings account. And here's what it is. It is slightly different than a bank savings account. They're both going to be federally regulated, both going to be liquid savings accounts. High yield savings accounts usually just means these are online banks, and they have less overhead because they're not brick and mortar stores they have to, staff for and build. And so they can offer higher savings rates. So there's a ton of them out there.
I opted for the Ally one. I mean, this is not to push them for. I mean, these are all banks and
we
they're
have
all
no
products.
connection here at Ramsey to any of these banks. These are just kind of personal preference. I know Rachel's an Ally fan. I use one called Marcus.
Yeah.
And the key is make sure they are federally regulated. So they're FDIC. That means they're insured up to $250,000 per person on the account. So that's one thing you want to look at. The other one is all the fees and the minimum balances and transfer that. And so you want to make sure you're finding one that has little to no fees, is easy to use, will transfer your money quickly from your savings account over to your checking account at your local bank or wherever you do your banking there.
And the other thing to think about, which I think he mentioned here, is you are going to get like a 1099 INT for that interest. I don't know how much you plan on stocking away, but you'll have to pay taxes on the interest, right?
Yes. And so you can log into your account and download that form. I just did that this week to bring to my tax appointment. And I mean, if you've got a lot of money in there, so if you're saving up for like a house down payment, you could have some serious gains on that. I mean, if you look at a 4% on $100,000, for example, that's pretty serious over the course of a year.
A decent chunk of change.
But, it's okay. You add it to your taxable income, and it's still worth it to have that money grow for you. We take calls all the time where people are just watching their money not even beat inflation, just sit there dying in a normal checking or savings account at the rate of $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. So I would rather have that money grow for me. Interest you pay is a penalty. So interest, in this case, is a good thing because it's a reward. So highly recommend all of you, if you've got a bunch of money in savings, move it to a high-yield savings account. It's a great place to store the majority of your emergency fund. If you want to keep a little bit in your local checking for those little ankle biters so you don't have to wait for it to transfer, that's fine. Mine has an ability to do wire transfers. So if you do need the money, same day or next day, you can do wire transfers. Just watch out because your local bank may have a fee to accept that wire transfer. Something to look out for.
Very good.
Great question. Only I am excited to talk about high-yield savings accounts. It really just lights me up like a Christmas tree.
I know. When we saw the question, I was like, George, this has got you written all over it.
Love it.
You got way too excited.
It's a fun. Well, now the interest rates are back. It's a way more fun conversation.
True that.
Because now I'm like, what are you doing? Jump on that, my friend. And also, there's a lot of high-yield savings accounts that are attached to some of these giant, I'm going to call them not scummy companies, but a lot of credit card type companies out there.
Yeah. That's where you got to be careful.
That's I don't toe over that line. Now, all banks are going to have debt products. It's the nature of the industry, but it doesn't mean you have to go to Discover and step into the lion's den because that's basically a gateway drug for you to give them all your information so they can market to you all of these amazing offers, 0% on this credit card if you open today. And so I like to find ones that aren't as heavy on the marketing side for their debt products.
I agree. I don't think that I get any from mine, but they probably know better. They know better not to come over here with that mess.
Don't show up at my doorstep, in my mailbox. I love it. Well, Jade, in other news, eggs are all the rage among the youth.
My goodness.
In today's America. And now there's like memes. We're making fun of it. But there's a hilarious article that we got sent. What is it?
It's unbelievable. So the nationwide egg shortage and ensuing record price spikes has led Americans to seek alternative means to fulfill their appetite and their baking needs. You're never going to guess what this is. You can actually do, George, a rent-a-chicken coop. Yes, your face is exactly right.
They will bring me an actual chicken coop, like the wire fence and everything, to my house so that I can have eggs.
Yes, everything that comes with it. I mean, they will come, they will deliver it, they'll set it up, they'll help you set up these chicken coops. They come with you can decide how many chickens you want. So for instance, for this one, let's see, you can get 2 rent-a-chickens. So you get 2 laying hens. You get 8 to 14 eggs per week. A standard chicken coop, a food dish, a water dish, and 100 pounds of chicken feed. Plus your quick guide for taking care of your rent-a-chickens.
Oh, my goodness.
And this is, oh my gosh, $485.
For 6 months.
Hold on.
So over the 6 months, you pay $485.
This is
that comes out to about $80 a month.
I don't think that math is mathin', George. That math ain't mathin' for me.
Right. So here's the deal. If they're saying you're going to get 8 to 14 eggs per week out of this, let's call it a dozen for easy numbers, right?
Yeah.
You're getting a dozen eggs per week for $80 a month. That's $20 for a dozen of eggs.
Yeah. No, I told you, it ain't mathin'.
This is fun as like I guess if you got kids and they want to know what it's like to be,
Sure,
to
it's just
Farmer
a
Joe
project.
and get closer to the food you're eating, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But as like a hack for inflation, this is the worst hack I've ever heard of.
Do you kind of know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of when people are driving their car, right? They've got their car, they're driving along, and the car breaks down, and they're like, I got to get it repaired. And they don't want to pay the bill to get it repaired, so they just get a new car.
Oh, yes.
That's kind of like this. I feel like it's, oh my gosh, chicken prices. I don't want to pay the $2 to $3 more. Let me just go buy a whole chicken and a whole
does
coop.
not make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
They also have like an elite package, which is $13.85.
The old McDonald's special.
$1,385. You get a fancier chicken coop, and you get 16 to 24 eggs a week.
I don't even know.
I just looked at my local, like there's a little frou-frou grocery store nearby called Sprouts.
Yes.
Here in Franklin, Tennessee, and I just checked on their page how much eggs are going for. It was $3.39 for a dozen of eggs.
It's really not that serious, George.
And I even looked at like, okay, what are the really bougie, expensive, the chickens had a great life. They saw the sunshine. They took them to Disney World. They laughed. They cried. Even those eggs were $8.99.
You know what? I think it depends on where you go, because I know in some states it's like super high.
You know who always comes at us is Canadians. They're always like, well, in Canada, eggs are $19 for and I'm like, listen, I can't speak to Canada. Y'all are doing things differently out there. You got poutine. Your prices are out of whack.
Not poutine, George.
I'm not coming after poutine. I'm just saying they do things differently.
Well, here's what I want to get to. I feel like in the economy, things happen and we just go to extremes. Like, remember in like 2008, gas prices were crazy and everybody started buying smart cars.
Oh, yeah.
Like those ridiculous teeny tiny cars. And it's like, this is the solution to our problems. A terrible idea. Or people just like freak out and start buying a bunch of gold. And I'm like, now the eggs are expensive. We're buying chicken wire. We're buying whole chickens, whole coops. This is a symptom of something deeper. If you're really frantic, right? If you're really freaking out about this, if this egg shortage is, and the price increase is, if it's breaking your bank, there's something further beneath the surface there that needs to be. Well,
here's the thing. You're complaining about egg prices going up, 50, 60%. Okay, that amounts to $3 for a dozen of eggs.
Yeah.
That's probably $20 max a month for y'all. But then you're okay sending a lender $500 for that car payment.
Yeah.
And you're okay sending Sally Mae $400 over here for your student loan payment.
Let's
look at the real problem. It's your debt. It's not the eggs, folks. I never thought I'd have to say that sentence out loud.
It's
you
not
will
the
overcome
eggs,
this.
It's your debt.
We will survive the bird flu egg shortage of 2023, and you can become debt-free and create margin in your budget. And then you're not really all that concerned about egg prices. You just adjust the budget and move on with your life. Sorry we had to explain that to you guys.
Oh, George.
There we go. There's my dad joke for the day. This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Jade Warshaw this hour. Hey, if you're a homeschool parent out there, you've already got a lot on your plate, being both a parent and a teacher. But you don't have to add money expert to that list to teach your teens how to win when it comes to money. We've got a brand new Foundations in Personal Finance homeschool curriculum where our personalities teach this complex money stuff for you. They'll cover real-life skills like how to budget, save, invest for the future, and your kids will learn everything you wish you'd learned about money when you were their age. Plus, the curriculum comes with everything you need to make your life as a parent and teacher so much easier. You're going to get lesson plans, activities, transcripts. Everything's already created for you so you can focus on raising teens who are confident about money and prepared for the real world. So if you want to check this out, Foundations in Personal Finance homeschool curriculum, just go to ramseysolutions.com/homeschool to learn more. That's ramseysolutions.com/homeschool. Good stuff there. All right, let's go to the phones. Kelly is in Brookfield, Ohio. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Hi, George. Hi, Jade. Thank you for taking my call.
Happy to do it. How can we help today?
We love the Ramsey Show. So I'm calling basically about my boyfriend, and he has done a great job at saving and has made huge changes, and I'm going to tell you about them. And I believe that he can be debt-free this year, including his house. And he wants your opinion on what to do with the money, and I want to see if it matches what I say that he should do.
Ooh, this is a fun game.
It is.
Okay. Hit us with some facts.
Okay, so right now, actually, he has made huge changes. Like, he even bought another vehicle for cash that was $16,500, and he has a Jeep that he's going to be getting rid of. So it's amazing. So right now in the bank, after he bought this truck, he has $66,899. Okay? And he has consumer debt, which is his Jeep, a student loan, and a tractor that is $45,060. And when we were talking about this, I said, I felt that he should go ahead and pay off all that. And he's like, well, I don't want to pay my Jeep off because I want to sell it, and I'm going to be selling it before June. And that's where I feel like maybe you guys could help with that. And also, he has a student loan that has like $10,000 left on it. And I'm like, he thinks he's like going to, or he's hoping for like this forgiveness. And I'm like,
oh, no.
So
Kelly, there's some issues here. Okay, so he has the money. He could pay this all off today and still be left with $21,000 in the bank.
Yes, and that's actually more than his monthly expenses. Like, his emergency fund, I think, should be about $10,000.
Yeah, he'll be just fine, but he wants to hang on to this debt. So does he understand that when he sells the car, he has to pay off the loan anyways?
Well, say that again. I'm sorry.
When he sells the car, he has to pay the loan to get the clean title.
The Jeep, yeah, he would, but he's thinking he's just going to pay it off, like, when somebody pays him, because he thinks, I'm pretty sure he has about $10,000 to $15,000 equity in this Jeep.
What happens when the used car market keeps on dipping and all of a sudden he's underwater while he continues to make these payments on a vehicle he's not even using?
Yeah, like I don't know. That's why I'm like just talking to you guys about it.
I want to know where is he at?
Well, you're saying you want to see if his advice matches ours. Our advice is obviously to pay this all off today, be done with it, free yourself of those payments and the stress related to all this debt, and move on with your life. It's the simplest solution of all time. He's got the money sitting there with plenty left over.
How long have you guys been dating?
For like 18 months. And he honestly has made huge changes. Like, he doesn't get coffee every day. We don't go out to eat near as much. So you
feel like you're influencing him towards a positive direction financially?
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like he should just go ahead and follow these steps. But it's like he wants to not let go of his savings. He says, he's like, I've never had that little bit of savings ever. And I'm like, but after you pay those payments off and all that debt's gone, look how
well, he has the illusion that he has $66,000. Yeah. Really, he doesn't, because he owes people a whole bunch of money.
Is he interested in Financial Peace University?
Honestly, I was a coordinator, and I've had him watch it.
He's watched all the lessons, and he still wants to hang on to the debt.
I feel like it was in just him and I having this, watching the videos, and maybe it wasn't super impactful at the beginning because maybe he didn't feel like it was as important.
Would he go back through it again? When did you guys go through it?
Actually, just a couple months ago.
Oh boy, it did not stick.
So it's not, I just have to ask, are you kind of you're trying to see, is this guy marriage material if you guys can get on the same page of money? And you're really trying to see, man, I hope I can get him. I hope you get him too. But you know,
I think the thing is he makes a very good living, and our incomes are not combined.
Of course.
I'm just saying, like, I think that you could literally have your house even paid off by the end of this year.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants that.
That's the thing.
He doesn't
we
have
agree
much
with
vision
you.
for his future. He's hoping the government's going to take care of him.
Yeah.
Based on what you told us.
We agree with you, Kelly, but your guy, he's got a whole different methodology in his mind. And I think it's admirable that you're trying to show him this, that you're giving them information and that you're teaching. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And you can just keep setting that bowl out there for him. And maybe eventually he will, but you need to set yourself a time limit.
And then you might need to sell the horse.
Oh, I know that's right.
If he ain't gonna
Get you
drink.
a stallion.
Very controversial advice.
We actually have another meeting set up with an investor pro, which I contacted, and we're going to talk with them because he wants, like, his top priority is to save for retirement. And I said, okay, then you have your emergency fund already in place. Now you need to start putting your full 15% because he right now is only doing 3%. And
he needs to be doing 0 until this debt is paid off.
Yeah. Kelly, you're right. You're preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the choir here.
Here's some math you can do with him. Add up all of his payments plus interest and said, hey, what if you invested that over the next 30 years? And just show him what that number would turn into.
Okay.
Because that'll put his money where his mouth is. If he's saying, I really want to invest for the future, imagine a life without payments and repurposing that money. Instead of throwing it to lenders, he throws it to his future. And if he still doesn't care, then he's lying. He doesn't care about his future.
Or he just wants to do it his way, which we think is the wrong way.
I know. And I have to say, like, he has done really well for himself, even though...
You can out-earn your stupidity. Plenty of people do it.
Yeah,
he can keep making money, and you know what? He can still have a fine life. But right now, your values are misaligned, and it's a red flag for sure. I'm not saying that it won't work out with this guy. I hope it does. He sounds like a great guy. We're not here to bash him. He's very normal, and you have decided to be weird. And it's hard for those two to be compatible. We need to have 2 weird people if this thing's going to work.
If I'm you, Kelly, I'm taking this advice. I'm going to give it a couple of more, give it the old college try and keep trying to feed him. Like George said, like, do the math, like sit down and look at this thing, but then give yourself a time limit and go, if my guy doesn't, if it seems like we're not aligned on this area, start digging deeper and see if there's, see if it's worth you going forward with this, because this is something that is going to be critical if you guys go forward with getting engaged and even onto marriage.
And dig in and ask him, hey, why are you hanging on to this? And if he goes, well, the student loan, show him the stats on student loan forgiveness.
It's bleak.
Show him how bleak it is in Congress trying to get this thing through and how little chance it is of him getting his student loan debt cleared completely. It's not going to happen. And so you can go back through FPU. You have access to it still. So I'd go back through it with him and say, I'm going to give this one more college try, buddy. And I really want to make this work, but I need you to show me that you really care about our future and what it relates to money. So thank you for the call, Kelly. It was a fun one. And thank you all for listening to this show, America. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to Jade Warshaw, all the folks in the booth. We'll be back real soon.
What's up, guys? It's Jade. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm your host, George Campbell, joined this hour by Jade Warshaw, and we are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Ted is kicking us off in Jacksonville, Florida. Ted, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How are you guys doing today?
We are doing great. A little pep in our step. How can we help?
Hey, guys. So I am a newlywed, and my wife and I have a pretty good chunk of change that we would kind of like to know what to do with it. And one little side note, we are potentially going to get a house at some point in time, so we want to maybe have that in a safe spot as well.
Awesome. Well, congrats on marriage. How's that been going? How long ago was this?
So far, so good. It's just been about a year.
Nice.
Wow. It's exciting.
And do you guys have any debt?
No, we are completely debt-free.
Whoop, whoop.
Love it. All right, so let's talk about this chunk of change. How chunky is it?
Pretty chunky. We're very blessed, and it is north of $500,000.
Wow.
Okay. Where did this money come from?
So it's really just been the job market down here in Florida and the housing market. My wife and I moved together, and we were able to, between her home and some finances that I've had, that we were able to combine and have that chunk of change.
Well, give yourself some credit. So she had some equity in the home when she sold it, and then you've been saving like a crazy person.
Yes, and granted, I've had some help with my family through some inheritance, but at the same time, we both make over $200,000, so we've just been saving like crazy ever since.
So what's your household income today?
It's north of $220,000.
Awesome. Okay, so you're talking about what to do with this savings, and you mentioned the goal of buying a house. Are you guys renting currently?
No, I own my home free and clear.
Whoa. How old are you two?
We're both in our early 30s.
Oh, my goodness.
Y'all are different. You guys are really different. I love it.
What's the house worth?
Blessed beyond belief.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so we're ultra thankful, but it's pretty amazing, and that's why we just want to make sure that we're not doing anything ridiculous and, hoping to do something in the future that we are just like, wow, it's like the lottery. So we just want to be smart with it.
I love it. What's the house worth that you have right now?
It's probably about $300,000-$400,000.
Okay. And then you've got $500,000 in cash just sitting in the bank?
In high yield savings accounts, yes.
Love it.
Great.
And then any other retirement accounts?
She has hers through her work, and I have a Roth that I've maxed out for every year.
Okay. So you guys are in baby step 7, which means you can invest more than 15%. And so I would, at your age, I would just take advantage of as much investing as I can. And that might look like, with your income, mega backdoor Roth with after-tax contributions to your 401k. Do you have that through your employer?
I do not, but she does.
Okay. So that's one place you can sock away a whole bunch of money. Also, do you have an HSA, either of you?
Yes, she does.
Okay, so we can max out her HSA, and that money can be invested, and that can be used as kind of a side investing retirement tool, which is really cool. And beyond that, you have brokerage accounts, of course. You can sock that money away in outside of retirement, and you'll pay taxes on the growth of that over the years. But That's if you run out of all tax advantage options, you can always turn to that brokerage account.
Mm-hmm. And so I know I've listened to you guys a lot where so I max out my Roth, obviously, every year. Would it be smart for me to open an IRA as well on top of that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, max out IRAs. Now, you may not be able to contribute to a Roth because of your income limits. So you need to look into that. If not, you can still contribute to the traditional IRA. You may not be able to deduct it on your taxes, but it's still going to be a great retirement option for you.
Okay.
And you can do a backdoor Roth, which is where you convert those funds to the Roth side and pay the taxes.
Okay.
So are you working with a financial advisor right now?
No, not currently.
That would be my A1. For where you guys are at, wanting to maximize this money in this amazing spot, I would get in touch with one of our SmartVestor pros at RamseySolutions.com, and they'll be in the Jacksonville area, and they can walk you through all of the options you could do with this, and then you'll make the decision on where that money goes. But outside of investing, let's talk about giving and spending. Do you have any goals in that arena?
So what I've kind of just started to do is whenever I'm at a gas station, I'll kind of just seek out, a vehicle that doesn't look like someone is having the best day, and I'll buy their tank of gas and no questions asked.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I love that you have the margin with your time and money to even look around for those opportunities to give. And so I would focus some of it on giving. With this savings, with future income, I would focus some of it on spending, set some goals and say, hey, here's the places we want to travel to. We want to upgrade this car.
Oh, believe me, we're doing that.
Yeah. And so have fun with it too, because sometimes people like y'all that are so focused on saving and investing, you're so good at that, but it's hard to let go of the money and just enjoy it too. So I'm glad you have some balance there.
Yeah,
this is
God
fun.
Bless my wife. She has always been kind of a penny saver too, and so that's what's made this whole marriage pretty unbelievable. Where our goals are pretty aligned, and we have daily conversations of what we could do, how we can give.
Wow. Well, it's a huge factor in why you guys are so wealthy at a young age, because of those shared values and shared vision, shared goals. Man, you guys are running a million miles an hour, and there's living proof.
Right.
And then on the housing side, do you want to upgrade in-house eventually?
We do, yes. And that's kind of why we're, holding off on potentially meeting with some financial advisor, just because we, want to be able to have that cash on hand to put towards the house. And then after that, that's when I'm going to hone in, meet with a financial advisor and then just invest like crazy from there. I
love it.
Would you say that's fair?
Yeah. I mean, because you may just go, hey, we want to use this $500 plus our home's worth $350. We're going to get an $850,000 house. There's nothing wrong with that either. You got plenty of time to keep investing. You have an amazing income, no debt. If you just keep this up, you're already probably baby steps millionaires, I imagine, your net worth.
Yeah, we're close. I would say we're pretty dang close.
I love it.
But blessed beyond belief, and for a lot of people that are struggling out there, just always keep a positive attitude, because you never know who's going to be at the gas station to help you out. So.
Man, that's so true. Well, Ted, I love your heart. What a beautiful picture of what this looks like when you get on the same page and you start your marriage off on the right foot, completely debt-free, money in the bank. You have options. You've got freedom, man. You've got joy. You can give like no one else, live like no one else. Thank you so much for the call. I'm inspired talking to you. This is The Ramsey Show. What's up, America? This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Jade Warshaw this hour. Jade, this has been a hot topic among the youth of America, among the millennials. And here's the headline. I want to get your take on this. Millennials are living with their parents at higher rates than past generations, and they're not ashamed. And here's the stats. Since 2020, adults aged 25 to 34 are living at home at higher rates than past generations, said the Census Bureau. And of course, since the onset of the pandemic, young millennials are living with their parents at rates that have not been seen since 1972, and they seem to be in no rush to move out.
I mean, that is the fact. I definitely, here's the thing. If I felt like people were really taking that money, paying off debt, stashing away, for a down payment and doing well with this money, I might say, okay, live at home for a season, stack up. You're like, there's a time when that works. Culturally, there's those situations as well. But we know it says that 48% of these people that are living at home with their parents, they are spending a lot of this money on luxury items.
Oh, called out.
Handbags, watches, Gucci belts, George.
Ugh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's the part that I have a problem
so
with.
So Morgan Stanley did some research about discretionary spending, and that's what they're finding, is that the no rent, that money that would have been used towards rent, is going to some discretionary spending that may not be the wisest move.
Yeah, I just don't see how, I just don't see how this is really all that it's cracked up to be.
To call it out, that is, the 48% was folks that are 18 to 29.
Yeah.
It's saying the older millennial counterparts, they're living at home means things like you're talking about, saving for the down payment, waiting for the high mortgage rates to come down, the housing prices, prioritizing spending on experiences like vacations and concerts rather than material goods.
I still think there's a time limit. There's got to be a time limit on this thing, George.
Yeah, this whole I'm just going to live at home until the economy cools down. That's a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely.
And we're not here to bash. Listen, if you're in your 20s or even in your 30s and you're with mom and dad, I'm not here to yell at you, but I do want you to have an exit strategy and a plan to get out of this. And usually it means let's get our income up, let's get out of debt, let's start spending less. This is a great time. It's like the student loan pause. It's a great time to pay off your student loans.
Yes.
Not the time to go party because there's no payments.
I agree.
So I moved out when I was 20, and I moved across the country and finished school. But when did you move out?
I moved out. So I lived on campus for the first 3 years of college. Then I was engaged my final year of college, and I didn't want to go back and live at home. So I lived in an apartment where there were not enough rooms for me. So I lived on the couch, and I couch surfed until I got married. And then I moved in with the great Sam Warshaw.
I love it.
When we were married.
Yeah, and when I moved out, I had roommates up until I was married, basically. Yeah. And so there's nothing wrong with that. You have roommates right now. They're just your family. And I'll tell you, I miss living at home because mom's doing the cooking, and she was a very nurturing mother. And so she was like, I'll do the laundry. But it stunted my growth. I was getting lazy. Even when I go home for a vacation, I'm all of a sudden transported back to my childhood self, and I have no discipline, and I'm sleeping in, and you just revert to your former younger version of yourself.
Do you know what's a better version of this that will really keep you motivated? And I can say this because I did it. Instead of living at home, George, go get roommates. Just go get roommates. You can still save a lot of money, maybe not as much money as having no rent, but get some roommates, pay a little bit a month, and then you're going to feel more, you're going to feel more independent, but you're also going to feel more like, man, I got to get out of this situation so I can live by myself. I think the home environment, it's too comfortable.
I wish Dave was here because I can hear him in my head going,
too comfortable.
An eagle that doesn't leave the nest is called a turkey.
A turkey.
You can just picture him saying that. And that's exactly right. There's a level of dignity you get when you move out on your own and you're paying your own bills and it's on you. That level of responsibility, while scary for some financially, man, it just makes you feel like a whole independent person.
Absolutely. And I know, here's the thing. I know there's some married couples who are living with the in-laws or living, at home. Can I tell you, when Sam and I got married, we were living by ourselves, but we wanted to save money on rent, and we got roommates as married couples.
Whoa.
We lived on the upstairs of the townhouse, and the other people lived on the bottom half of the townhouse.
Respect.
We did it for 1 year. Saved $600 on rent. Let's go.
Let's go. I love it. Well, hey, you can do this, and we're here for you. If you're one of those millennials living at home and you want to get out, we can show you the path financially, how to set yourself up for success. All right, let's go to the phones. Rhett joined us in Salt Lake City. Rhett, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So I signed up for a universal index life policy when I was 24, so 5 years ago. And now I'm wondering if I should cancel this policy or if I should wait 5 years and cancel when I don't have any more early cancellation fees.
The surrender fees.
Yeah, that's the name.
Man, so when I think of this situation, I think of the term sunk cost fallacy, where you stay in something because you put money into it and you just go, I'll just keep putting money into it until maybe it makes more sense. But I'm getting out of this thing today, and before you do that, make sure that you have term life insurance in place.
Okay.
Do you have term?
I am just about to finish one up right now.
Okay. And for everyone listening, for the good of the listeners out there, what are you paying for this universal life insurance policy?
It is $245 a month, but I also have a $250,000 disability tied into it and a $10,000 child rider.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what's the death benefit?
If I were to die today, it's worth $530, but originally signing up it was for $500,000.
Okay. And then the cash value has not built up much at this point?
So it's worth $30,000, the cash value. But as far as canceling, it's only worth $2,800 today. And if I wait 5 years, it's worth $23,000.
Ouch. So what's this thing going to cost you to cancel today?
They'll pay me $2,800 to cancel today.
And how much have you paid into it over those 5 years?
Roughly $14,500.
Okay. So we'll call this, a $10,000 stupid tax, and we'll move on with our life, and we'll get term. And over those 5 years, you're already going to make your money back just by getting a term life policy that's, 5% of the cost of this thing.
Right. So just for fun, I went and got a quote for a term policy that had that $250,000 disability and the $10,000 child rider.
Okay.
And it's roughly $83 a month. So I guess my main question would be, is the disability worth it for me as a self-employed person?
Because you're self-employed, you're looking to get the disability insurance in case something happens to you and you're unable to work, but you're still living.
Yeah.
I would look at the price without it and see if it's worth the risk for you. Are you in a high-risk position?
No.
Then I wouldn't worry about that side of it. The 10K child rider, what's that for?
Just if one of my children passed away before me.
But why would you need life insurance on them? They're not providing an income.
That was just something that I signed up for when I was 24.
Okay. So we're not, you don't need that as part of this new term policy. So I would price it out and go, hey, what is it going to cost for a $500,000? What's your income today?
It's about $150 a year.
I still think, so $150 a year, we would recommend 10 to 12 times your annual income. So that would put you at about $1.5 million in term.
Yeah, so I got a quote on $1 million term, and it was $30 a month.
That's a heck of a price compared to what you were paying for half of that death benefit.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess the main thing that I was tied up on is if I paid $15,000 more into it over the next 5 years, it's worth $23,000.
I'm not taking that deal. It feels like a gambler in Vegas being like, just let me work at the slots, man. We're gonna get out of this thing. I'm canceling today. This thing is a ripoff, and the entire universal life insurance industry exists to basically rip people off and make them think it's a wise investment for their future, when really you're just paying insane premiums that make those salespeople giant commissions for a long time. So get term, then cancel that universal life policy, my friend. Thanks for the call. This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show, and about this time of year, we get flooded with calls because everyone is looking for a fresh start with their money. They're not where they want to be financially, and if that's you, you can't wish for things to change and just expect it to happen. You've got to do some things differently when it comes to money. You've got to have a plan, and we can teach you that plan in Financial Peace University. This is the course that will help you rethink how you manage your money, where you're going to learn our proven plan to beat debt and build wealth. Plus, you're going to have access to our financial coaches to help you every step of the way. Nearly 10 million people have taken FPU. It's the same course that Jade and I went through that changed our lives. And if you follow this plan, it can change everything, and you can do this thing. And today is the perfect time to start. And it's because right now we are offering Financial Peace University, get this, $69.99. but only through the end of the month. That is seriously, I've worked here for 10 years, Jade. I've never seen that price on Financial Peace University. So if you've been on the sidelines going, I'll wait, this is it. Don't wait any longer. By the end of the month, this thing's going to be over. So this year, you can have more peace in your finances and your life. Don't wait to do this. Get this limited time offer on Financial Peace University at RamseySolutions.com/deal. That's RamseySolutions.com/deal. And if you've been through it, this is a great opportunity to gift it to someone else at a great price as well. RamseySolutions.com/deal. All right, let's go to the phones. Nick joins us in Newark, New Jersey. Nick, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
So I'm 24 years old. I've been out of college it'll be 2 years in May, and I'm still living with my parents. I'm trying to move out by midsummer, September is kind of my goal. But I have debt, of course. I have $65,000 in private student loans for college and $19,500 in federal. And that starts up again in, I think, October. And I do have a car loan that's about $15,000 that I pay $296 a month for. And I have $300 of credit card debt, really not much at all. I can pay that off. I make salary and commission, and I also have a side hustle. So I'm in the ballpark of $50,000 a year. It really, kind of depends. I would just say that's a good estimate. And
what are you doing for work?
I'm in tech sales. So I work remote.
Okay.
And my side job's at a golf course.
Okay.
And I'm contributing to my 401k, 3%. I have a Roth IRA open. I'm waiting to add to a little bit more to my high yield savings to start contributing to it. But basically, my question for you is, what is your advice for my situation to be able to move out securely in, let's say midsummer, September? I also, I don't know if I mentioned, I have $22,000 high yield savings. My goal is about $28,30 by May.
And what's the goal in the savings side?
In savings, the goal is around $30,000 by May.
But why? What's the why behind that?
I think mentally, I like seeing a big number in there for security. It's kind of just...
I'm more freaked out by the other number. Your debt amount compared to your income is scary, dude.
Yeah. I have a feeling you're not going to like the car, but...
Yeah. So what kind of car is this?
So originally, during COVID, I was working... I was working at a supermarket, so I couldn't really do anything. So I bought an Audi A5, and I got a good deal on it, and I sold it after about a year, and I made $5,000 off of it. But I now have a 2019 Jetta that I bought almost a year ago when car
What's
prices
it worth?
Weren't. Right now, probably like 13.
And you still owe 15 on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you called our show. We're going to give you our advice. And, I mean, it's going to be the baby steps, which means we're going to clear most of your savings to throw at the debt. And if you did that, you could clear the credit card and the car loan today and still have money left over, right?
Yeah, I could probably have like 5 something.
And what does that do? It frees up your credit card payment and your car payment, which you said was about $300 a month.
Yeah, it's $296. Yeah.
And now we're just attacking the student loans, which while they're on pause means you can actually make progress because it's not accruing interest.
Yeah.
So the question is, how much of the student loan debt can we knock out by the fall before you even move out?
Probably, if I really tried, like 10,000. Honestly, if I really tried, so possibly a little more.
Well, the advice is, I want you to get out, and I think you can. You'll probably have to get a roommate, I imagine, if you're going to stay in Newark, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely open to that.
Okay.
I thought about leaving Jersey too for maybe Philly. They're very affordable there. So.
Okay. Well, start doing your research on, hey, what is rent going to cost? And how do I get my income up? Because wherever I go, it sounds like you're going to be on the coast. These are high cost of living areas. I know Philly may be slightly cheaper than where you are, but it's still expensive compared to most of America.
Yeah, New Jersey definitely isn't the cheapest.
So the question is, you can keep doing the Nick plan, and that's fine, and you'll hopefully get there one day, but I would rather you follow the Ramsey plan and go, how do we knock out this debt with focused intensity, which means we're pausing that 3% investing contribution until we're debt-free with a fully funded emergency fund.
Yeah.
Because that's going to free up another little chunk of your money.
Absolutely.
So the question is, where can we free up as much money as possible to attack this debt as aggressively as possible?
So you would start with the car and the credit cards, and then...
I mean, I would look, if you want to sell the car and then go buy something way cheaper with the money you have in the bank, you can do that. Because right now, just based on your income, this is going to take you longer than 2 years. And anytime it's going to take someone longer than 2 years to get out of debt, I think more drastic measures are needed.
Yeah.
And you can't sell your degree, unfortunately. What was your degree in?
Communication. I'm in tech sales now. I am looking for, to make more money, but I definitely am. But
yeah, I would for sure look at a different tech sales job because you can make some crazy money in tech sales. So the fact that you're getting $50K between the side hustle and the tech sales job makes me think there's something else out there for you.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jade?
Okay.
Am I off here?
I think you're right on, George. I think, in these situations, it's easy to kind of, like we talked about earlier, wanting to do kind of an ish plan, do the Nick plan. But I really think that in this case, you need to stick to the proven plan and just work these baby steps.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
And you'll have that savings account back up in no time once we get out of debt. And if you can get your income up.
No, that's the most I've ever had saved. I love looking at it. When
people get emotionally attached to their savings, and it really is an amazing thing because most people have never seen that kind of money sitting in their bank account. And so to drain that to pay off debt, man, it hurts. But
yeah, it's a security thing. Yeah.
You're excited about 22 when we're looking at, $80K sitting on the other side in debt, accruing interest, and that part makes me angry. Go add up what all your payments are plus the interest you would pay for the remainder of the term, and it's going to make you want to punch something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, every month it's let's say a little over $1,000. If I had no debt, I could easily move out right now, in my opinion. But
agreed. Well, we just did a whole segment on millennials unable to move out or feeling like they're unable to, and it's largely due to debt. And we can blame, again, cost of living is wild, and you live in a high cost of living area, and inflation is tough, and the housing market's tough, and the rental market's tough. But you know what else is tough? Paying someone $1,000 a month for the past.
I know, that's right.
So that is your best tool to fight back against all of this craziness and inflation. And you can do that, but you need margin. And the only way to do that is to get out of debt, spend less, and make more. Are you doing a consistent monthly budget right now?
Yeah, I actually have a spreadsheet. I'm staring at it right in front of me, actually.
I love it. Well, I'll do you one better and gift you every dollar premium for 1 year. That's our budgeting tool. It beats a spreadsheet. I'm no Excel whiz. I don't like to jump in there. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. And so jump onto every dollar and plug all of your numbers in. There's some great premium features as well, like the paycheck planning tool you can use to make a plan for every single one of those cents coming in, Nick. And if you do that, you're going to start to find areas you've been slouching. We call them money leaks around here. Where you go, that subscription, I don't need it. Eating out, I don't need it. I've got goals to get out of mom and dad's house. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. Man, thank you for the call. We're pulling for you. And for all of the millennials out there who are going, how much longer do I got to live with mom and dad? Listen, you can get out, but your payments are killing you. It's not the egg prices. It's your payments. Get out of debt. Use the debt snowball. This stuff works every time you work it. 18 to 24 months is the average time it takes for folks to get out of debt using this method. You can do this. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, John 15:12. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Jackie Chan once said, in work and in life, no matter how smart, talented, and beautiful you are, you also have to be a good person. We have to treat one another well and really mean it. Everyone can tell if you're doing it out of genuine concern for them or if you're just faking. Let's go to the phones. Shay joins us up next in Jackson, Mississippi. Shay, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing great. What's going on?
I have a question. I have $25,000 in the bank that I had in a CD, so a 4-year CD. It earned maybe like a little over $200.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the bank to put it in another CD, which would earn 4%. But the financial advisor at the bank said that I should invest. My question is, should I invest through the bank? I do have a financial advisor for a Roth IRA that I got maybe 2 years ago. Should I just invest that money with him, or should I invest with the bank?
Well, it depends. My first inclination is to kind of find out where you are in the baby steps, because the way we teach, might determine a different strategy for what you currently had with this money. So right now, do you currently have any debt?
No.
No debt. I love it. Debt free. And do you have any money that you're able to just kind of liquid, easy to get to for your 3 to 6 months emergency past this $25K, or is that it?
No. Outside of the 25, I have about 54.
Oh, wow. Very good.
Where is that sitting?
Just in savings account.
Okay. And is that above and beyond 6 months, or is that right at it?
No, that's far above and beyond 6 months.
So what is your goal with all this money?
I'm 50. I feel like I'm a little behind with the investments because I started late. Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to see what's the best strategy, I guess, to kind of grow my money the best I can at this quote-unquote late stage.
Have you been doing any investing previously? How much do you have in your nest egg?
I have invested with my job. I have about $92,000 with my job, and then, like I said, I just got a financial advisor for a Roth IRA about 2 years, but I think it's only maybe $4,000 in there.
Okay, what's your income?
$40,000.
Okay. And you have a 401k through your employer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do they have a Roth option there for the 401k?
I do, but I think they do.
Okay. I would look into that. That could be a good solution for you, and you could do all 15% into that Roth 401k if that's the case.
Okay.
That makes it really easy. Do you have a house?
I do.
Okay. Do you have anything left on the mortgage?
No.
Oh, wow. It's
Very
paid for.
good.
What's the house
Very
worth?
good.
It's probably worth like 65, 70.
Cool.
Very good, Shay.
And is that where you plan on retiring in that house?
No. I mean, I can, but no.
Do you want to upgrade in house? What would be the goal?
I would like to move out of where I am. I would just like to move to a different location altogether.
Okay.
Out of state.
Well, as far as the baby steps go, you would be in what we call baby step 7, which is the final step, build wealth and give. And so now is a great time to start to really ratchet up your investing. And that means you could invest more than 15%. And so a great goal for you would be to max out your 401k at work. And there's catch-up contributions now that you're 50.
Okay.
And so you want all the tax-advantaged accounts you can get. Match is the best. Do you ever match with your employer?
No, we did, but they don't do the match anymore.
Okay. So then Roth would be our next best bet, is utilize all the Roth accounts we can, which means a Roth IRA and your Roth 401k. If you can max both of those out, you're going to be in great shape.
Okay, so just max out the Roth and the 401. Okay.
And I would get in touch with a SmartVestor Pro. I don't know, what bank this is. They may be fine people at the bank, but the bank is also trying to sell that bank's products, and they might try to pitch you on things that I would not recommend. And so I would get a second opinion from a SmartVestor Pro. You can connect with one of those at RamseySolutions.com, and they're not tied to any one bank.
Okay. Because that's who I have. I went through the SmartVestor Pro, and that's how I got the financial advisor I have with the Roth.
Okay. Well, I would take their advice, and you still make the decisions. Make sure the ball's in your court. They're not going to do anything for you. They're just going to educate you on your options. And then after that, you go, yep, let's do that. I want to put my money in these mutual funds and these index funds. And you should be in better shape than you would have been without investing. So I would put your savings also in a high-yield savings account. Right now, it's just with your local bank?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Look into some high-yield savings accounts online. We mentioned some earlier in the show. There's a bunch out there. Ally and Marcus are some that our team members use here, and that can help your money grow at 4% without locking it into one of those CDs, which I'm not a fan of. Thank you for the call, Shay. Appreciate it. All right, let's get one more in with Haley. Haley, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
We are doing great. What's your question?
So I'll try to make it quick. So I'm a full-time critical care nurse. I've been a nurse for 9 years. I've been working mad overtime ever since COVID, and I actually got an opportunity to switch careers this past fall to become a high school teacher at a vocational school teaching allied health. And so I was really excited to do that because we were out of debt. We were making our way towards our emergency fund. So I felt comfortable doing that. But now the income has really slowed down, and we're comfortable, but we can't get past baby step 3. I just feel like it's going so slow. I'm used to working so much overtime, and it's just very discouraging. So I'm just wondering how to deal with that, and if I should just go back to my other career where I was making a ton of money.
Well, do you like this career better? Are you passionate about this one versus not caring about the old one?
I am. I'm passionate about both. So I actually do still work at the hospital per diem. So I work about 2 shifts a month. So that definitely helps. And then I can work in the summer. I love both jobs. There's ups and downs to both. I just kind of needed a change after working so much through like COVID and everything. So I am passionate about this job. It's just the income is definitely a bigger hit than I anticipated.
How much is the hit?
So, I mean, working overtime at the hospital, last year I made $130,000 and now I'm down to $71,000.
Oh, that's a big hit.
Based off my base salary, as a nurse, I was $83,000. So I figured taking the, $12,000-$13,000 hit wouldn't be so hard because we were out of debt, we were doing good, and I could still make up some overtime at the hospital. So it's not so like we're comfortable, we're making our bills and everything, but I just feel
What's your household income total?
So with base pay, as a teacher, I'm making $71,000. I can make about $15,000 still at the hospital, and then my husband makes $55,000.
Okay. Is there an opportunity for your husband to make more if he switched careers?
So he's an EMT, so there is room for overtime there. He works full time too. He does most of like the caretaking of our son. So I'm usually the one who kind of picks up the overtime, just because it's more hourly, so it makes more sense.
Well, you're going to be out of this baby step 3 slog real soon, so I want you to make a long-term decision that's right for you. So I don't want you to go back to the old job. There's a reason you took this new one. And so I want you to dig deep and go, yes, this was the right choice. We're just feeling the pinch. We keep getting these emergencies that keep popping up. But you can definitely live off $120-something thousand a year with no debt, which is where you guys are at. And so it just looks, you got to look at the budget and go, how does our life look different now that we took this pay cut? And is it worth the choice we made?
Right.
You're still going forward. You're just going forward at a slower rate, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part. It's just much slower now, so it's like an adjustment.
Well, stick it out for 6 more months, and if you guys are still not making the progress, go back to the other job since you like that one as well. Thanks for the call. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to Jade Warshaw, my co-host, all the guys in the booth keeping the show afloat, and you, America. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously. Hey, it's George Camel. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.